One of the big stories we've been covering for a long time is the problems with the Veterans Administration. The VA hospitals, the wait times, things have been happening there. And then we found out that there is a Serve Veterans First Act of 2017 that's being rolled out by Senator Flake. He's been kind enough to join us this morning. Senator, is always welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
First of all, the necessity of this bill is shocking to me, but I'm glad that you're on top of this. Can you explain what this is and why you're doing it?
Well, we all know the problems that the VA has had across the country, but it was ground zero in Arizona when we found that wait times were so significant that veterans were actually dying waiting for care. Mm-hmm. And so we put in place the Choice Act, which gave veterans outside of, a 40-mile radius, better access to care. And so things have improved, certainly. The focus that has been put on has improved. And our offices, my office, Senator McCain's office, and others will tell you that complaints, given where they were, are down. So it's a better situation. I want to note that. But there's still some things that are very troubling. We found that the GAO reported in 2015 there are 346 VA employees that have spent 100% of their working hours on union activities, and that's in 2015. 346 VA employees. So at a big facility like Phoenix, you have a number of employees who likely spend all of their time, and these are compensated by the federal taxpayer on union activities. And just thought that it's not, while that is going on, we've had legislation actually to cut out this kind of federal payment for union activities, but it still goes on. We're saying until these wait times can be brought down to under the 30 hours system-wide, that no federal compensation should go for union activities. I think that that's eminently a common sense approach to it.
Yeah.
So,
and looking at the numbers, the VA spent, it says here on the numbers I'm looking at, in 2014, the VA spent almost $50 million on just official union business.
That's right. 1.1 million federal hours for official union activities were spent. So it's really a number that's just shocking, and particularly given that we still have wait times exceeding 30 days at a number of facilities. So we're saying bring those numbers down or don't compensate. And then some will say, well, why are we compensating that at all? And I'd be glad to look at legislation to prohibit that. We've passed it in the past, but somehow they get around it. But this is something that we can't abide when wait times are so long.
How has this been received by your colleagues?
Well, we're just rolling it out now.
Okay.
So I'll be approaching my colleagues this week and next, and certainly after the break.
Is this information that you dug up? Because I know that you talk about government waste every year, and you put out a waste book every year about some of the ridiculous things. People kind of laugh at the money that's being wasted, and it's kind of a humorous way to look at some of it. Is this where this information came from?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we go through the federal budget very closely and put out a number of reports, and this is one of the things that we discovered. I should say locally, the Goldwater Institute has endorsed this, and they've been working on it as well.
It's amazing that it's necessary, but and I would imagine that the unions are not going to be happy about this, but there's got to be a lot of VA employees that are, because there are so many good people that work at the VA that do such good jobs, and they're kind of lumped in as part of the problem with these wait times.
You're right. That's exactly right. I know a lot of them personally, and they certainly want to get these wait times down. They've tried, but this is such a big bureaucracy, and when we find out that things like this are still going on, 1.1 million federal hours just at the VA. Paid for official, union activities. 346 VA employees spend 100% of their time on union activities. And that was in 2015. So it's out of control, and we've got to put a stop to it.
Are they working on? Have they sorted out the problem of accurately looking at the wait time so that we're not getting those fake lists anymore, where we know now that even if there's still an issue that it's over the 30 hours of wait time, which it is in a lot of cases, but were they now getting accurate information out to the people?
We believe that there is. We have common metrics that we require and common reporting. So we think that we're getting better figures. And, reports are still being issued. Office of Inspector General looks at this and audits facilities. And so I do believe that we're getting better information, but the Office of Inspector General reported in March of this year that wait times remain a problem. So we still haven't got every facility down under the 30-day wait time that is the minimum standard. You have some. I have a list here. If you look at the VA clinic in Anthem, for example, it's just a 16-day wait time. That's one of the better ones. Flagstaff VA is 7 days. Globe, it's 4 days. But then Lake Havasu City, 48 days.
Yeah.
Surprise, in Northeast VA clinic in Surprise, 36 days. Southwest VA clinic in Phoenix, 44 days. So a lot of the clinics around in some of the smaller communities have much longer wait times, and that's a problem.
Is it staffing issues in some of those places that just don't have the staff to meet the need?
It is, and it's an allocation problem that the VA offices, the central VA offices, and the ones in Washington will have to deal with as well. In certain areas, wait times are smaller. Perhaps we can shift employees to other areas, or attract employees, or pay them, differential based on where they are, because some of these areas it's just been chronic for too long, and we certainly hear from those veterans.
Yeah, healthcare obviously is on the minds of America everywhere, and if something's coming out of the Senate for the American people, but this is something that we've promised to the veterans. They've earned this care, and I appreciate your diligence in trying to make sure that you're improving the system all the time.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Really appreciate it.
All right, Senator, it's always good to talk with you. I know it's been a rough week for you, and your family's in our thoughts and prayers, and we thank you for taking some time this morning.
Well, I appreciate your note on that as well.
All right.
Very kind.
All right,
thank you much.
Thanks, Senator.
Okay.
All right, that's Senator Jeff Flake spending just a few minutes with us on the VA. Seems ridiculous that we need this. It's almost laughable that we have a need in our society to say, until you get the wait times under 30 days, you can't do union work during regular work hours. 346 VA employees spend 100% of their time doing union work. 1.1 million hours. We spent as taxpayers almost $50 million in 2014 only on union work on work time. Crazy, right?
Maddening.
It is insane. So
that's all I got on that. How do you, as that person, sit there and go, well, this is my job.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
The senator,
I don't care about those veterans.
Yeah. The senator said that what this legislation does is until they get under the 30-day threshold, across the country, they can't do this. And so people are saying, why would you do it at all? He said, I'd look at legislation about that as well, but at least this puts a cap on it for a while.
Let's start somewhere.
Let's start somewhere. So, yeah, there you have it.